Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Nick and Sergio's Fun Watch List. I am Nick.
I'm Sergio.
Wow. How are you doing today, Sergio?
I'm doing really good. I'm having a great time right now with this season. Well, I would have to say this is not my most favorite episode, but I feel like overall, this is still a strong season for me.
This feels like kind of a treading water episode. I think maybe just because of the ending of last week's episode and the ending of this week's episode, not to spoil too much.
Yes, and I feel like production is always trying to do something, and I think they're starting to do it again this season, where if you're like some of their favorites, they'll leave you.
Maybe.
Because honestly, can I just say this? I thought that Kylie's was Purga's mother, but I was incorrect.
We have a bunch of things to correct on this
I
episode,
know,
actually. We've had a lot of
know.
inaccuracies
So,
this season.
listen, we're watching from far away. Sometimes Spanish is hard for both of us to understand. They're not mother and daughter. They're just both...
They call each other mother.
Yeah, they're just both mothers. I wanted production to be like Kylie's. You pick her and you leave. Not like you pick her to stay. Like, that's stupid.
That was weird. Yeah, that was a very disappointing reveal. After the lip sync was over and Kylie's was declared the winner, it was said to La Kylie's that she could decide whether Purga would go home or not. And we thought the whole thing was it was like Purga could maybe take her place.
That's what I wanted.
But that would have been drama. Instead, what happened is she just said, no, I want her to stay, because of course she did, because it was her friend.
Yeah, it was so boring.
A little anticlimactic.
Very anticlimactic. Which is why I love the end of this episode.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it was meant to happen. It just didn't happen.
Sure. And we'll get into that. Don't want to spoil it just yet. We've referenced it a couple times already. So we get our intro music, and then we're back in the workroom for a new week. Johnny Carmona comes in. Well, he's carried in because he is in
like
full
Ariel,
mermaid.
Ariel,
Yeah.
Little Mermaid. And then Ariel, out of nowhere, is like, I'm the real mermaid here. I'm no. That was very funny to
There's
see.
so many references to Ariel this week, the Disney character.
Well, we already had a Sirena last season. Or, oh, whoa. No.
2 seasons.
Two seasons ago.
Wow, we're getting old. So Johnny, as always, announces what the theme of this week's runway will be. And he gives a history of the Dahlia, which is the national flower of Mexico. It was declared the national flower in the 60s. Do you like the Dahlia? What's it look like?
Here it is.
I can't picture
Can
it
I
right
just
now.
say something?
Sure.
This is another runway that we're getting a parallel right at the same time from Drag Race Mexico to La Más Draga.
Oh, it's because the challenge is La Más Floral, the most like flowery. Alexis Tres XL comes in, and she's giving almost a full cosplay of Juana Guadalupe's white and red runway from a couple of weeks ago. Do you remember?
Yes.
For Papel Picado.
I think she looks beautiful.
She, of course, looks beautiful. I'm just
Yeah.
saying she's
But you're right. She's
giving
giving
the
a
same
little
reference.
bit papel picado, yeah.
And she announces a little bit of a twist on a challenge that we've come to know quite well. For the last couple seasons, La Más Draga has been doing the challenge La Más Famosa.
Snatch game.
Basically the Snatch Game equivalent. And they've been changing the format. They do it like Family Feud style.
I like the Family Feud one.
I like the Family Feud one. And then Drag Race
Drag
UK
Race, yes.
stole.
UK
As they
versus the
do.
world. They all kind of borrow from each other's little side. And Family Feud was a great game.
Do you like watching Family Feud?
No, but I grew up in Mexico watching Cien Mexicanos Dijeron, which is Family Feud, and was much better.
So Alexis announces that they will be reworking La Más Famosa into a mini challenge.
Did you like this new setup?
Look, I think the thing that they realized is in the previous La Más Famosa challenges, we really only give them a chance to say like one or two things.
True.
So we might as well just truncate it even more and also have this visual gag. So if the person isn't being funny as the character, then we can get the funniness of them getting hit in the face.
True.
That was kind of the plan.
Maybe they knew they weren't that funny. And they're like, well, you know what? Let's make it like a Saw challenge where we ask them questions.
Yeah, it was kind of
like a
Saw.
line detector with like Saw. Like, you know those line detector, which magazine does them for, it's on YouTube, but you know.
Mari Povich.
With the lie detector test determined that was a lie.
Oh, Vanity Fair.
Vanity Fair.
Or that show that La Veneno went on.
Oh, yeah, the Spanish show, yes.
Yeah. So one by one, they get to do their celebrity impressions. And if they break character or fail to answer a question, then they get pies in the face, which is fun.
Which is very fun.
Purga goes first, and she is performing as a character that we've already discussed a couple times this season, Nirka. She's a...
Bailas?
She's quite a character, but people are commenting that she mostly just sounds like Purga. She's not really changing her voice much.
I mean, it's like when she was trying to act in that acting challenge, where she's like, girl, you're just playing yourself. But I loved it, though. I'm not trying to judge her. I really, really loved her Nurka. It was like chaotic. It was not like she was Nurka, but she had the essence, and she made it into Purga Nurka.
It was a little confusing because they didn't say everyone's names, so I don't know who Juana was playing other than her name is Paquita?
Paquita del Barrio.
I missed that part.
Okay.
So is this Maria del Barrio's mom, or?
This is a real singer.
Oh, okay.
A real live singer who's very old now. And I saw her once.
Oh, really?
At a
Was
festival.
she good?
Yeah. She has one iconic song that, talks about a rat.
Oh, and that's why they kept talking about the rat
Yeah.
during the questions.
Which means the rat is,
the former
I was going to
lover.
say you, but yes, former lover.
Such an asshole. But I kind of loved how Juana was very half committed to this character. She was very
laid back about it. Even though, like, in the confessionals at the beginning, she's like, yes, I'm so excited that we got this challenge. I'm like, what?
Speaking of moderate commitment to a character, Alexis Mugler is next, and she is doing Salina Quintanilla.
Okay, honestly...
Honestly, it was kind of funny.
It was funny to me. That's the thing that I was like, why was she in the bottom? I feel like there were worse people.
I agree.
Her.
I think this was kind of engineered for the twist that we see at the end for her to be in the bottom.
I think it was definitely engineered for that twist to just get it over with. Because
she was at least being entertaining.
She was entertaining, and that's what matters in Snatch Game. I mean,
yeah.
This... Sorry, La Más Draga, not Snatch Game.
Well, they're going to kick you off set because of that.
Yeah. I'm not invited to the finale.
You're not invited. Dimitra is next, and she is a character I recognize because this character was on American TV. She's Ugly Betty.
Well, the original Ugly Betty.
Oh, so this is the original version from Mexico.
No.
Where's it from?
From Colombia.
Oh, from Colombia. I had no idea.
The original version. I need Dimitra to stop saying she's not funny and that she's not a comedy queen. I'm like, girl, you are funny, which is good sometimes that they don't know, but it's like, but at this point in this competition, you know now that you are the most funny out of all of these girls at this point.
Kelly comes out next, and she's playing Dana Paula. And
who lives in LA now.
She lives in LA?
Yeah, she lives here.
Oh, well, we can go to the market and see if Kelly's interpretation of her was accurate.
Honestly, I don't know why Kelly was not in the bottom this episode.
She probably should have been, actually, because everyone kind of said that she was the most
only
cringe.
looked like a little bit like her, but in terms of everything else, it did not land for me.
Arias is next, and she is playing Alejandra Guzman, who's not someone... I know some of her songs, but I don't know what she looks like. Was this kind of accurate?
It was kind of... ish accurate.
Someone jokes that she looks like Steven Tyler. She does not look like Steven Tyler.
No. That's the subtitle.
That was the subtitle translation.
Yeah, they say he's like a band member from a band in Mexico.
I actually think the La Más Draga subtitle people are doing a really good job of localizing the reference.
Except for things like that.
She does not look... She looks way more like Ozzy Osbourne or Marilyn Manson than Steven Tyler. This is goth. This is metal. This is not...
Overall,
that's my only issue.
Safe for me. She did good.
Safe. She was funny. I like the voice.
Yeah, I like the voice.
Next up is Electra Walpurgis, and she's playing a... This is another telenovela character?
No, this is another real life person. Oh my god.
Some people are playing characters.
She was a guest judge on Drag Race Mexico.
I don't remember anything that happened on Drag Race Mexico. I didn't recap it, so I don't...
Basically, all of this is turning into like, are they gonna impersonate a guest judge on Drag Race Mexico? She was fine. Like, I think she memorized some lines. Seemed like, and she was kind of forgetting them.
You got to stay in the moment with these. You have to stay.
Yeah, you have to like twist it. But I think overall she was good.
Okay, this one I definitely know, unless there's a Colombian version of this that I'm unaware of. But this one is...
Well, there's a Mexican version of this.
There's a Mexican version of Chucky?
No, what would his name Chucky's so adored in Mexico. I don't know why.
I personally love Chucky, and Chantel is doing her best Chucky, and I thought this was pretty funny.
Honestly, I thought this was great.
She knew her trivia. She knew Charles Lee Ray.
She knew her trivia, yes.
She knew the spell, the voodoo spell that Chucky uses to go into the doll. Like, she knew her stuff.
Yeah, I think overall she was very solid to me, and I would have put her on the top.
I would have put her in the top too. This was very funny, and I'm a sucker for a horror reference. Next up is La Kailis, and she's doing Barbara de Regil. Do you know who this person is?
I feel like Listen, Barbara del Gil was a guest judge on last season of La Más Draga, and she was the one that gave her fucking powder.
Oh, her powder.
Her workout powder.
Her workout protein powder. I forgot.
Yeah, to the queen that left. How
Did
can
not
you forget such an iconic moment?
Well, now that it's referenced to me, I appreciate this performance by La Kylie's a lot more. I love the workout references. I love her abs that she drew on. I like this. This is funny.
Yeah, no, she was amazing. She's very funny.
She is.
I feel like
She's
after
very
seeing this,
entertaining.
I'm like, yes, you are very funny, and I want to see more of that.
Catriona comes out next in her best old lady makeup, and she is Chabela. What can you tell me about Chabela? I don't know about her.
Chabela, finally you hit a TV person. This is a fake character that would play like in parody,
Okay.
like, comedy shows.
Like a sketch character.
Like a sketch
Okay.
character. And, she was this like woman who would like go into her confessions and like basically talk about like this elaborated story that seems so sexual. And then at the end, it would be like the slightest little thing that like was so insignificant for a priest to be like, why are you telling me this? So it was always that kind of like story.
I mean, that sounds like a funny
It was
sketch.
amazing. Lots of double entendres, like, and layers of different things, which is why I feel like this one was not good to me.
Because she didn't bring that energy.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Catriona is she's a little quiet, isn't she?
Yeah.
I think that's her runways, I think, have been really consistent, but she is just a little quiet. I hope that doesn't come and bite her like a cat.
Well, she has 9 lives, so.
She does. Ariel comes out next, and she is playing a Thalia character, Maria del Barrio. This is one of her.
One of the ones you know.
You have explained the 3 Marias to me enough times for me to know this reference at least.
Check out the unedited version of this. I think she saved it by accidentally falling and acting
When she
out a
fell.
scene. That was smart. That was where I was like, you are a very smart person, because she went into a very famous scene in which in the novela they make Thalia like pull a bracelet out of like some mud.
Oh, really?
Floor. Yeah,
oh,
it's
that's what
very
she was
iconic.
doing when she was eating the cake off the
Yes.
floor. That's very funny.
That's why everyone was like going crazy, because that's like an iconic scene from the novela. Yeah, I think overall she did good.
She could have won. That's really good.
Not won, but she did good.
She did good.
No, she could have won.
We get to the end of the mini challenge, and Alexis Tres XLA announces the winner, and it is, drumroll please. You're not gonna do it?
What's happening?
There's a drum.
In the editing.
Oh, I did it in the edit. Okay,
Yeah,
I
right
thought you were gonna do it with your mouth. The winner is Dimitra. Yay! She did really good.
She did really good. I was shocked when they announced her as the winner, but I feel like as soon as I wrapped my head around everybody else, I was like, oh no, that is the clear winner.
It was pretty entertaining, and I think it was better that it was briefer and there was a physical comedy.
But can we just say that they're falling a little bit more into Drag Race? They're calling it the mini challenge, but this is the maxi challenge, and then there's a runway.
Yeah,
Like that's what they're solidifying here. They're like, we're not gonna do it on the main like stage. We're gonna do it in a set. That is a maxi challenge. That is Snatch Game.
But
that
also,
is how it is.
Also, babe, I don't know if you noticed in the captions, in the English captions, they call it a chiquireto in Spanish, but in English, the captions say tiny challenge, not mini challenge. So even in the captions,
They're trying to stay away from that so
It's
much.
very funny to me.
Ugh.
It's like pathological. They cannot say any word that has been said on
It might be for they could get sued, you know?
Mini challenge does not belong to Drag Race.
I don't know.
So Alexis also announces that there will be a Menos for this mini challenge. She actually makes a joke about how the rules are constantly changing. So this is the first time since this rule has been established.
Since the first episode.
That the rule is returning, where if you are the Menos in the mini challenge, you go straight to the lip sync. So that's what's going to be the situation for Alexis Mugler, because she was supposedly the worst.
Supposedly.
Yeah, supposedly indeed. But she has fun with it. She faints, and we go into the workroom, and this is a really heavy workroom. We don't want to talk about every little thing that happened
I
here.
think it's too heavy to talk about.
But we'll touch on it. We'll touch on the broad strokes. We'll talk about the drama first, because that's a little lighter.
I mean, even the drama was a little bit pointing fingers. And like...
It was surprising, because Elektra really has not been central to a lot of the drama. But she confides that she's feeling a little separated from the group.
Well, first
she's
she
feeling
instigates.
left out, and she does kind of instigate first.
At first, through
Yeah.
questioning, like Kylie's like, oh, I want, like, if it would have been me. Like, you don't ask questions like that if you don't want your feelings hurt.
Yes. She
Why?
asked if I was in the bottom and I lost the lip sync, would you have saved me like you saved Purga? And like Kylie says no, because you're not my friend like Purga is. And that's fair.
So that's what I'm saying. I feel like it started on the wrong foot, and then it just spiraled down, and it was a lot. It was a lot, and
It turns into a shouting match between Electra and Arias. Two people who really haven't been fighting that much. I mean, Arias
Sure.
got into it with the first shorty fight, but this is the first time she's been really up in someone's face. And even though I do side with Electra in the sense that she's sticking up for her anxiety issues, Arias has some really good points too, saying like, I have these feelings as well, and you're sort of invalidating my feelings. So this all seems like it probably just got blown out of proportion because
I
they
think
were
it
stressed.
got blown out of proportion. I think that's what happened,
Yeah.
and I think they all probably made up after.
I think
So.
probably none
It's
of them
like
care
not
about
a big-
this by the
yeah.
time it is shown to the world, which is always the funny thing with these fights. And then we go into some very, very serious stuff. And I don't want to go into all the details just because it's too upsetting. But Juana shares a very, very dark story from her childhood involving her father being abusive. And luckily, this story ends with sort of a bittersweet happy ending with a little bit of reconciliation with her father. But it also leads to almost everyone in the workroom talking about their varying issues with their family, how oftentimes the mother is accepting and the father is not. It's an interesting and heavy conversation, and I will say, I was trying to take my screenshots so that we could do this recap, and I was crying, and I was running late, and I just had to pause the show for like 3 minutes and just take a breather. It was very heavy.
Yeah, it was a heavy episode, and I was crying a lot of the. That's why I'm like, I don't think I can talk about it. So we can move on.
We don't really need to get into it, but
Let's go onto the runway.
it's important to share these stories. Go listen to them share their stories if you'd like to hear them. We'll go onto the runway because we're just here to talk about the fun art side of the thing. Going over to the runway, Marisol Gonzalez comes out as always, and I love this flowy pink dress. It's got like a nice little nude illusion cut out going
Yeah,
through the
she
middle.
looked very pretty, and especially I loved her little half ponytail.
Yeah.
Like she looked very pretty today.
This is one of my favorite Marisol looks so far.
Very more lighter, or felt more, I don't know, brighter. I don't know, it felt
Breezy,
breezier,
airy,
airy.
yeah.
Yes,
It's
Cover
very
girl.
fun, very spring. We check in with our judges, and we get another Ariel reference because Raquel is giving full mermaid today with her red hair and her sexy blue gown. Do we like this?
Well, it was more a reference to Kylie's
yeah, we
on
get
the
her.
last episode, singing like Ariel.
Yes, which was my favorite. And maybe I'll include the audio right here because I didn't last week. It's pretty fun. It's a very understated dress, but I just think she looks awesome.
Yeah, she looks beautiful.
And we go over to Yari, who is very overstated this week. She's giving kind of Marvel villain, hella Kate Blanchett.
She's serving. I mean, I love what she's serving this episode. This is Yari Mejia from like season 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
Feels nice to see.
And we go over to Leital, and Leital is just having a real plant fetish.
She's going crazy this season with her like prosthetics.
She
and
has been a
outfits and
plant.
costumes.
How many episodes is this? 5? She's been a plant.
You need to serve different makeup.
She's been a plant 3
Not
out of 5
makeup,
episodes. She was Groot. She was a flower last week. Seems like she should have been a flower this week, but whatever.
Oh, she was Groot, which is a root. You're right.
And she's like is she like a succulent this week? What is this look?
She kind of is giving like succulent vibe, like under the sea too, kind of.
Ooh, yeah, like a coral. Yeah, but it's beautiful. I love the detailing in her makeup.
Yeah, no, she looks great. And then we have a guest judge this episode who I really love.
Tell us all about her. It was Consuelo Duval, right?
Consuelo Duval, yes. And she's a very funny woman. I think I remember her the most from 2 different shows. One show was, I think, Laura Pico. And then the second one was La Familia Peluche with her.
Oh, she was on La Familia
She was
Peluche?
the wife of Eugenio Derbez in that show.
Oh, that's her?
Yeah, that's
I had no
her.
idea this was her. Well, very exciting. I actually know who she is then.
Yeah, so she's a very funny person. And I loved that she was so real about it. She's like, I don't know why I'm here, but I'm here. and I'm here and I love everything I'm seeing now. Like this is before the runway. And then after the runway, she again says like, oh, I was not expecting this, but I'm glad I'm here. Like, I love that.
Clearly her agent just was like, you'll have fun. Just go. Let's get right into this runway. It's very impressive. La Mas Floral. And I will say, before we start going look by look, this is my favorite runway of the season. For me?
For you.
For me?
For you.
Juana
Not for me.
Guadalupe comes out first, and she is giving
Wow. I
full
love the way
piranha
this moves.
plants. She's giving Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors.
Yes.
She's giving Venus Flytrap. And yes, I think the way it moves is
The way it
special
moves
part.
on stage is just somehow she's really good at getting that like you remember her in first episode with the horses and the way that they
Yes.
looked like they were moving, and the way that these move. Wow, I feel like this was an incredible outfit.
Yeah, I was very impressed. And I also liked the use of Venenito. The way people use Veneno and Toxico are always very important.
Also, but Raquel was like, oh, he almost like outstaged you.
He does that with everyone, first of all.
But it was like so unnecessary. It's like like they were working together and it worked perfectly, and I loved it.
The funny thing to me, and I wasn't sure, but I went back and looked, is Venenito is playing a sort of like fairy, like a little butterfly or a fairy.
I didn't pick that
And
up.
his
wings.
wings are the same as Purga's wings from the runway last week. They're the exact same wings.
Oh my god!
So I don't know if Purga borrowed
You're
them
right.
from Juana or if Juana borrowed them from Purga, but these are the same wings.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
And then at the end, because she is a flesh-eating plant, she eats Venenito, which is a great way to end.
Sad.
It is sad. We don't want Venenito to be eaten by a plant, but we do want that on the runway.
Overall, strong week for Juana Guadalupe.
Kelly is next to the stage, and there's a very funny thing where Venenito and Toxico are, it seems like they're being finalists in a beauty pageant. So because Venenito wins the beauty pageant, he's rewarded with a bouquet, and
Which
Kelly
honestly,
is the bouquet.
I didn't even realize that until you're saying it now.
Oh, you didn't get the
I
story?
didn't get the story at
It took
all.
me a second because I was like, he won something, and then it was like, oh, because he was holding hands with Toxico, they were the finalists. Kelly
and
is
that's
the,
why Raquel was like, you went for the okay.
the main critique Kelly gets for this from the judges is that it's a little safe, a little pageant.
I thought it was a little safe.
But I agree with Raquel that it was kind of her movements that saved it. She was gliding, she was moving very interestingly,
Yes, she
and I
was
think that
owning
elevated
the
it.
stage when she was walking, and I really appreciated that. I don't know if we want people to put it in the comments below, but it feels like, listen, is it true? Am I correct that whenever there's the top four, we don't hear their songs until the very end at the finale? That's the time that we hear their songs. But somehow now this season, and I think it was a little bit last season, they're playing one song per runway or per girl. But some of them, they play their actual songs. So like, Purga's song was already playing for her, like the song she sings. And then Kelly was singing her song in her runway. And then like Ailis was also singing her song in her runway. So I'm like, what does that mean?
So they're debuting songs maybe one by one throughout the season? Is that how they're doing it? Because
That's what I thought, but
there was new songs this week that I hadn't heard before.
Yeah, and Kelly's was one of them. Because sometimes they do put like Raquel or Yari Mejia's song for the girls' runway. And then there's some that are mute. Like Alexis Mugler has only like a beat. There's no words to her runway, which is very similar to Santa Lucia last season. And then we realized at the end, oh, that was Santa Lucia's songs playing the entire time on her runway. Like the song was not released until the finale. But the beat of the song was her runway walk.
Okay, so all this conspiracy...
Call me like a conspiracy
No,
theorist.
all this conspiracy is to say what? That you think that this means that Kelly will be in the final? Because
that Kelly will not be in the final.
Oh, because we've already heard her song.
Because we're already hearing her song.
Oh, interesting. No, this is something I want to hear about in the comments.
Because that would be a really bad like production thing that they're doing that.
Catriona comes out next, and this is a very interesting interpretation of the challenge because what's going on here? I didn't understand the reference.
I don't understand the reference, but the judges all loved it.
Yeah.
I was very surprised because I was like, it seemed, I don't know, like not really finished to me, or I don't know.
It was a little simple. I mean, I really liked the way these big vines moved.
They were moving in like a way that it felt like they were just...
It felt like they were about to fall, but then I realized that she could control them being up and down, so like that was part of the design, I think. But I didn't understand the story with the bottles hanging from the branches. I feel like it's some sort of tradition that I'm not familiar with.
No, I think that is basically pollution. Like
Oh, it's a comment on pollution.
Like plastic.
Because that, I think you're onto something, because I think Raquel was mentioning that the drink that she serves is like a poison and it kills the humans, and that's like the revenge from the plants. So yeah, I think you are right.
Not my favorite.
Not my favorite either.
Slow safe.
Yeah, I thought it could use more flowers. There weren't that many flowers. Arias comes out next, and this was a real stunner for me. I was sort of surprised this did not win. It was just impeccable. It looked incredible from the front.
I think somebody had done it already. That's why it didn't win, like in a previous season.
Well, Deborah Legrand won doing a reference to the same painting, which I falsely said was a Frida Kahlo painting in the La Mas Frida episode, so I apologize. It was a Diego painting. But Deborah, in her finale, referenced the same painting.
I know, but there was the most recent one. There's another recent one.
Someone did it again?
And it was the girl who went home. It's season 4. Somebody did it in season 4.
Was it? It was Sirena.
Yes, it was Sirena. You're right.
Sirena.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, somebody had already done this. So it's like, yes, she was impeccable. She was amazing. I loved it. I loved it because I didn't expect when she turned back.
When she turned around, that was very...
And it seemed like all the green was gone. And I was like, what just happened?
That was very
like,
cool.
Very mesmerized by what happened. And then she turned again and I was like, and then you saw it and I was like, wow, that's amazing. Respect for her. Honestly, she's really amazing.
Even if this reference has been done before, I think this is the best interpretation of the reference. So I was still excited by it.
Yes.
Lakailis comes out next, and I think it's really unfortunate that Lakailis ended up in the bottom this week, because this is my favorite Lakailis look. She's awesome.
She's so campy.
It's very campy, but this was kind of glamour. Like, her face was great. The wig was good.
Listen, I think...
The flowers were huge.
I think I'm starting to understand what Raquel is saying, because we know she's funny now.
Yeah.
And we know that she's a great performer. So she
could
knows how
bring
to
that
move
into
on
it.
stage. So it's like, why is it that every time she goes on the runway, she just walks and it's not even a good walk.
No, she walks very awkward.
She walks very awkwardly, and it's like, but you are a great performer. Like, you should be able to like walk this like you mean it.
Alexis Mugler comes out next, and I really liked this look from Alexis. I thought this was a great interpretation of her doing the La Mas Flora.
This is the most polished we've seen her, and I appreciate that. I really appreciate
I do too.
that. And I really actually enjoy this too.
And the fact that she could look this glamorous and still keep her character and still keep her style and still have a funny moment on the mic, which is always a good choice for her. I think this was a pretty strong performance.
Yeah, everything but the shoes. That was not my favorite thing. She could have had better shoes. She needs to stop wearing wedges or whatever they're called.
While she was on the mic, she sang a song. It was a song about flowers. Was it about this flower? I didn't understand.
It's a very iconic song from the North, and which she is from the North, and it's a song that like your grandfather would listen to, and I know that song, so it was very funny, like hearing her
and having Venenito on the accordion. That was cute.
Yes. Overall, I feel like solid,
and I was bummed to see her in the bottom, because I thought this was one of her best runways.
Well, she was in the bottom because of the maxi challenge,
yes,
or mini challenge, whatever.
The tiny challenge. Purga is next to the runway, and again, she looks really good. This is her best runway.
This is her best runway yet, not her best makeup yet.
See, I didn't mind the makeup. I just didn't think we could see the right parts of it.
Yeah, it's like, if you know that, like, it just felt like her big eye did not work with the... I don't know.
Yeah, her eye ends before the mask does, so that's the problem.
I love this outfit so much, and I even was like, if I ever go on Drag Race, I'm gonna wear like this exact same shape, because she looks amazing.
It's really cool.
This is like a finale, like look.
Yeah, it's really inventive. Like, I wasn't expecting this from Purga. This was cool.
Yeah, no, I really love this, and she was safe, and then she wasn't. She wasn't.
She even has a little story with the baskets, with the love me not. So it's just taking the petals off. I thought this was a very strong presentation overall.
Yeah, very strong. Sad.
Very sad.
For the finale of the episode.
Very sad what happens. Dimitra comes out next, and she's just a big ol' pink flower. I don't know what else to describe. This is just a really cool flower look.
Yes. I don't understand why the judges don't like her. Do you agree with what the judges said? Oh, you should throw the flower. Oh, you need more presence. You need more like...
I agree
You're
that there could have
done.
been, like, even just now when I was trying to say what her story was on the runway, like, nothing really came to mind. I didn't
Can
even
you
remember her fake throwing the flower bouquet.
can you imagine if they had both, like, her and Alexis would have both been in the bottom and they both used their immunity at the same time?
Oh, because they both have one?
That would have been a chaotic episode.
Because then they would both get to pick who goes in
I
the
just
bottom?
feel like somehow they want to put her in the bottom, and I'm like, I think
She's been very
she's
consistent.
been very consistent now. There, I'm like, why do they keep? It's like kind of what like Raquel does with like Kylie's, where it's like, I know, but
Yeah.
I guess they have to judge something.
Mm-hmm.
So
And it is a very hard situation where, like, if I was the judge this week, I would have had a hard time picking a bottom three. Next up, we have Chantel. And this look was very smart because when it first came out, I was like, not floral enough, not enough flowers.
Mm-hmm.
But then I realized that the cape was kind of the poinsettia flower petals. I loved that it turned into a burlesque number with her removing bits and having the fans also be like the poinsettia flowers. It was very cool.
I adored this runway. It was so clean, so straight to the point, but also so lyrical. Like, I just was
Yeah.
so lyrical to me. I just see like the breeziness of it. I have to say this is one of my favorite ones of the night.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And I do think that bringing an element like burlesque into a challenge as general as La Mas Floral is like very smart because you're going to make yourself stand out.
It was like
And I think that's what put her in the top.
Bosco, which she was a rose, and then she started unplucking herself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Bosco and Chantel should do a duet number where they both do flower burlesque. Next to the stage, we have Ariel, and she's wearing a very bold silhouette in a sort of stark pink fabric. I love the flowers on this hat. I love a wide brim hat. It's kind of a simple look, but I think it's just well executed.
Yeah, I am a little bit conflicted in this because I really, really love the shape, the color, everything. But what I don't get is she was trying to do a nude illusion up at top, but then her
Yeah.
face was white. And even though in her back it was also a nude illusion. So that's what I was like, that's the only thing that threw me off, where I was like, what is happening?
I get
It
why she was like, I
disconnected.
want the white face if I'm going to wear this hat, because then my face will pop more. But yeah, I agree. There's a disconnect with the nude illusion. That should have
Yeah.
been white.
So, not my favorite, but she's kind of giving Regina George vibes.
Wait, why? Because she's wearing, the pink dress that she wears to prom.
prom,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, I see it.
Because it looks, the frame makes it feel like she's in a...
Okay, I see it. Yeah, Regina George realness.
I mean,
like
she
it.
is she is the Regina George of the season.
She's fully the Regina George. She's always starting shit. She's got a burn book.
She was like clearly like, I don't like you, to like Electra in the confessionals. I was like, oh, like, girl, damn, you're too direct.
Speaking of Electra, she is our final contestant to the runway this week, and she is entering the stage backwards. She's got a big ol' yellow flower on her back, and the Venenito is playing sort of like a flower picker, someone who's out picking flowers, and Electra is playing this sinister poison flower who I guess poisons Venenito and he dies.
Benito died a lot this episode.
Poor Venenito. Just how come no one wants to kill Toxico? He's right there. He'll do it. And also Veneno, who went through the whole La Mas Veneno.
He's not even
series,
around.
He's never even on. Where is he? What's he doing?
He has a better contract.
He doesn't have to work. He doesn't have to do the runway.
Yeah.
I'm obviously a big Electra stan. Other than the construction that went into the flower, which I think was
Yeah,
stunning.
That
the
was amazing.
The front of the outfit didn't really do it for me.
No, I agree. I don't think it was as strong as what we've seen from her.
Well, she's been so consistent, right? And this, I thought just lacked like a little cohesion, I guess, because the individual pieces were good, but I was like... So that's our final runway look. We go into the Mas and Menos for the evening. Raquel has selected Chantel to be in the top. Their names rhyme, and I think that's fun. Chantel Lamas, do you think?
I agree.
Yeah,
I said, she was my favorite one of this episode, so...
I wouldn't call her my favorite, but this was definitely a strong one.
Like, in terms of performance, she was the best.
And Chantel is consistently proving that she knows how to think outside the box, and that's what's making me see her as more of a front runner. And her Menos for what, the fourth time, the fifth
Consecutive
time?
week since the first episode.
Raquel
It's La
declares
Kailis.
La Kailis is the Menos.
This time, though, I kind of agree with her.
Yari Mejia announces her top. It is Ariel. And this wouldn't have been in my top. Like, I would have tried to get Arias in the top. Maybe,
I would have put Arias in the top instead of Ariel.
yeah, maybe they're just trying to spread the wins out, which I do appreciate because this was a strong week for Ariel. That was one of her better runway presentations.
True. It has been one of her best, yes, yet.
And then, unfortunately, though, we do have Alexis Mugler in the Menos position for Yari. And we kind of don't agree with this, but also I can't really think of anyone else to put there.
I know. That's the thing. Whereas, like,
it's a strong week. It's a strong cast. It's a strong challenge. Like, what do you do?
Yeah. I would say those shoes put her on the bottom.
The shoes were pretty rough. We go over to Letal. She does have a mas this week. It's for Juana Guadalupe.
Wow,
and I agree.
Shocker.
No, look at this makeup, though. Like, the
No, I know.
the
I
shading
meant,
is
like,
great.
for Betal to have a top.
Oh, yeah. 2 weeks in a row.
Very well deserved.
Very well deserved.
Yeah, Juana Guadalupe, not this.
The Menos for the second week in a row from Letal is Purga.
Purga.
And I liked her makeup better this week than last week. So I
was
thought
the
that was
same.
sad. I know it's the same, but it was purple.
Like flat, and I agree.
But it was purple. I like the purple.
I agree with, like, she needs some type of definition, like depth. She needs depth.
Sure.
She needs glitter. She needs high. Like, if you have eyes that big, why are your eyelashes like this tiny? Like, you know, it's about accentuating and
Look,
making
she's
it
a
bigger.
tiny girl. She's like, I can buy tiny eyelashes and put them on my tiny face. So Marisol announces the winner, and it's Juana Guadalupe. Yay. I think we agree.
I agree with this.
Yeah.
And I love it for her.
I might have gone with Arias, but she's already won a
She's
won a
won
challenge.
like 2 times already.
She has won twice. And it was a
Although
reference
I think
we've
this
seen
is
before.
Juana's second win. Fact check me on that.
We'll fact check it. The fact check is right here. I loved this look so much.
The
it
way
makes
it
a lot
moved
of
on
sense.
the stage, she was just mesmerizing. I'm very happy for her. Especially this is her episode. With her story, everything. Rooting for you now.
And then La Kailis is declared as the Menos. Ooh, very sad. We love her so much. She just escaped being sent home last week.
Yeah.
But because Alexis Mugler was in the bottom, as we mentioned, for the mini challenge, she goes straight to the lip sync.
Straight to the lip sync.
But she won an immunity in a previous mini challenge, and she is choosing to use it now. And she gets to choose who will take her place in the lip sync against La Kailis. Now, there's some speculation. Girls are saying, we've heard Alexis is going to put a strong person on the bottom, and maybe they'll get sent home. Did you think that was going to happen?
No.
Who would you have would you have put in the bottom to try and get them sent home?
Not get sent home, because I know that if they're currently good, it means that they're good performers.
Well, maybe some people are better like on the runway than in a lip sync.
Because it's like, if I put Catriona's
An amazing
gonna be
lip
an amazing
syncer,
lip
yeah.
syncer. I think if I would have put Arias, I think I can assume based on what we've seen that she's an incredible lip syncer.
Yeah, it seems like
If
it.
we put Ariel, she jumps a lot. So like, she does from her audition. And, so I'm like, this is a strong cast in terms of lip syncing that I was like, I agree with what Alexis did. I agree.
Well, let's say what she did. She chooses to put Purga right back in the bottom where she was last week. So we get a repeat of last week's lip sync.
Listen, one of them was meant to go home that episode, and they didn't. And then let's test it again and see who is going to go home this time. And both times, Kylie's would have stayed. Because Kylie's won the first lip sync, and then she won the second lip sync again. So it's like, as much as I love Purga, I kind of understand why she picked Purga to be in the bottom, because it was already meant to happen last episode. So
I do understand it. And even though I thought Purga put up more of a fight this week, I thought her lip sync was stronger. This was a much tighter lip sync than last week. I thought La Kylie's blew Purga out of the water last week.
And
this one was much closer.
No.
You didn't think?
No. I love Purga. Like, I love her. She has so much potential. Like, so much potential, but she's too young. She's still very young. And she was just trying to pull things out. Like, sometimes it just doesn't look good. Like, the way she was dancing and performing some of the looks, it's like, it was also the third time in the bottom.
Yeah.
So, I think, as much as it makes me sad, I think it was her time to go.
I am inclined to agree. And the good news about Purga is we can watch her talking in other places, and we will enjoy her voice and her drag. And maybe we'll get to see her on the Mother's Tour if it comes to LA.
I know.
Bring it here. La
We'll
Kylie's and Purga, please bring it to Precinct.
Yes,
I'm sure they would love to have you. So that's the end of the recap of this week. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of drama, a lot of tears, a lot of excitement, a lot of great looks.
A lot of excitement, I think I would like to outline.
Yeah, and some fun impressions too. Some pies in the face. It was a good episode. I really
Great
enjoyed
season
it.
so far, like I said.
And before we go, I want to check in with some of our YouTube comments because we've been getting a lot of them. We really appreciate it, and we'd like to answer some of your questions. Our first message is from Dakota, and they say, "Thank you for doing it, guys. I'm actually enjoying it so much. There are few English speakers watching La Mas Draga." So I think Dakota is another English speaker who's enjoying the show along with us.
Great.
Yeah. Thank you. And if you are an English speaker who for some reason is just watching our recaps, please go watch the show itself. It's very fun and it's accessible for English speakers these days.
Yeah, there's subtitles.
There's subtitles and they're pretty good.
I can't wait for the dubbing to happen. I'm sure it'll happen.
Don't do dubbing. Armando writes in and says, "Thank you for doing La Mas Draga recaps. You're doing such an amazing job with the references. You deserve more views, and I'm pretty sure that you will get them soon."
Aw, thank you.
That sounds like he's gonna hire a bot farm to watch our videos for us. And Armando,
he's gonna go door by door, giving them our video.
good, please. If you could go door to door to your neighbors and give them a QR code that will take them to our video channel, it would be very helpful. Thank you, Armando.
That's very sweet. Thank you.
So we have some scoops here from someone who watched Aviesk's review show.
Season 3 winner, which you don't even know.
I know exactly what happened. Elka Boing writes in and says, "So from what Purga said on Aviesk's review show, her and Kylie stole some fabric during the lunch break." This is for the design challenge last week.
Okay.
Chantel practically made Juana make both of their outfits. So that's maybe why Juana's was not so great. Arias had the most input in her team's outfits, which is maybe why they were so strong.
I mean, that one kind of, yeah.
And then Kelly was wasting time with a carnival-style outfit that ultimately she did not wear, and is the reason Dimitra was an emotional mess and had to make both outfits.
Oh.
These are very interesting tidbits, and obviously we should be watching Aviesk's show, because we would know this.
I mean, I watch it.
Well, you didn't know this. Why didn't you tell me?
I watched it, but I didn't pay attention like this. So thank you for writing it for us.
Thank you, Elka. We really appreciate it. And our final comment comes from Hernan Ledesma. They say, "Hi guys, did you see the new Salseo? It gives a new look on Dimitra and the Kelly issue." So I think this is more about the...
So far.
Yes. And one question. If you had to do a lip sync just like La Kylie's and Purga, what song would you pick? Kisses from Argentina. So if we had to go head to head in a lip sync, Purga and Kylie style, what song would we do?
Ooh, we would do a Mon Laferte
It has
song.
to be a Mon Laferte song because that's one of the things that we listened to when we first met.
Yes. So it's a Mon Laferte song.
Which one did they do when Mon Laferte was judging? They did Falta de Querer? Is that what they did?
I mean, any song, I'll devour you.
If we do Diablo, I will rip you apart.
If you do Tu Funeral, I'll beat you.
If we did Tu Funeral, you would probably beat me. But I think anything up-tempo with horns, No Te Fumes, I'm going to beat you. I'm going to beat you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's your answer. Maybe we'll do a lip sync for the finale of this season.
Maybe.
Maybe we'll do it. If we get enough subscribers, maybe we'll do a lip sync for the finale. So subscribe, tell your friends. Thank you so much for leaving comments. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you next week for another episode.
Week.
Yay.
Bye.
Goodbye.